Have you ever given someone your time or your heart just to feel exhausted and unnoticeable afterwards? Our ability to assist others increases in value as we age. Not only does our energy become more scarce, but our mental health also becomes more crucial than ever. If you're over 60, maintaining your emotional space is not selfish. It's survival. However, some individuals will continue to ask and expect without showing you any concern in return. This video isn't about ignoring those in need of love. Rather, it's about identifying the kinds of people who subtly undermine your time, dignity, and well-being, and learning when and how to say no without feeling guilty. Because assisting the wrong people can cost you the very peace you've earned at this point in your life. We'll discuss 7 types of people who frequently arrive smiling, but depart with your energy. The outcome is the same whether someone does it intentionally or accidentally. After they depart, you feel smaller than you did before they came. This video is for you if you've ever left a call or visit feeling more exhausted, nervous, or irritated than before. Follow me because what we're about to experience could mean the difference between a tranquil, respected, and robust old age and one that is tired and resentful. Let's get started. The first is the long-term borrower. Some individuals only require your pocketbook and they never say that aloud. Instead, they call it a favor. They don't need your love, your counsel, or your presence. A small loan for a one-time situation, and you continue to help them because you're kind and have known them for years. The persistent borrower frequently hides behind civility. They don't come in demanding. Instead, they usually frame their needs as urgent or guilt. If I had another option, I wouldn't inquire. You're the only one I trust, they will say. However, you somehow spot the pattern. Every time they have a new dilemma, you are the one who solves it. Yet they never repay you. Not the cash, time, or even a sincere thank you. This behavior feeds into your innate desire to be helpful on a psychological level. You might desire to feel needed as you get older, especially after retirement. It's lovely that you want to think that you still have an impact on someone's life, but it also leaves you up to vulnerability. Chronic debtors are aware of this and take advantage of it. They are unwilling to deal with their own issues. They are looking for someone to bear the load for them. Seeing when your assistance is insufficient, when someone is constantly in need but never alters their behavior, is more important than refusing to aid anyone. Aiding hurts both you and the person you're aiding. Consider Bill, who is currently 73 years old and subsists solely on Social Security and his pension. After another car broke down, his nephew would come in for years for one reason or another. This month he needed a little extra time till Friday, so Bill would always take out his checkbook. However, Bill came to the realization one day that it had been 7 years of one-way gifting. His nephew, on the other hand, never made any changes. No new plans or jobs, just a new excuse every few months. Bill decided to stop, but it was difficult. He felt bad and worried that he was being frigid. However, are you aware of what transpired? Because when the free ride came up, his nephew managed to stop. Accountability took over and Bill at last began allocating his funds to his own health, which was in dire need. Don't be sorry for putting your wallet away. It's not harsh to uphold your boundaries. It enlightens you. The second person is the emotional drain. A certain type of person drains you even though they never ask for money or make a quantifiable request. These individuals will take as much as you let them to because they want your time, energy, and peace of mind more than money. There is always an issue with the emotional leecher. They always call you first for some reason. They're overburdened. There is a crisis in their health. They are not respected by their children. They were betrayed by their pals. Their boss is In summary, their lives are chaotic, and you have taken on the role of their unpaid therapist. It seems like you're helping at first. You listen well and you offer wise counsel. But take note of what follows. Do they heed your counsel? Do they even somewhat care about your life? Or do they simply vent their feelings on you before disappearing until the next meltdown? The elderly are particularly vulnerable to this type of outflow. As our social circles get smaller, we have a tendency to hold on to the people who call even if they simply bring baggage. If you feel worn out and uninspired after each contact, it isn't a friendship, rather it's a transaction in which only one party gains. Emotional work is a word that psychologists employ. Additionally, it can seriously harm your mental health if it is consistently one-sided. Long-term stress brought on by emotional leakage might also cause your blood pressure to rise, which lowers your. Over time, poor sleep quality might impair your immune system. Take a look at what transpired in Ohio with Linda, 68. They initially connected over coffee, but their visits grew more frequent and somber. Every discussion revolved around a problem. It got to the point that Linda was afraid every time the doorbell rang, because her neighbor never inquired about her life or provided assistance in return. One day, though, Linda decided to stop answering and instead prioritize her peace of mind. And guess what? She felt better, had more energy, and had a clearer head. Her daughter even observed the change. You don't owe someone your emotional bandwidth, especially if they never return it, because emotional weight, like physical weight, can crush you if you never set it down. Please let me know in the second remark below if you're still watching this video and finding these ideas helpful. Additionally, I advise you to turn on the bell and subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss any videos. Your assistance enables us to keep producing high-quality content to educate and uplift you. Let's proceed now. The third person is the guilty party. These individuals are the best at using a single potent tool. Guilt. They won't ask you directly or even in a straightforward manner. They will instead say something like, "I just didn't think you'd forget about us." Or simply, "It must be nice to have all that free time now." In order to avoid feeling like the bad person, you end yourself doing something you never wanted to do. Guilt trippers are hazardous not only because of what they want from you, but also because of how they make you feel after. There is no delight even when you assist. This type of manipulation is particularly damaging in old age, because it presses on your tender spots, sense of obligation, want to be connected, and longing to feel useful. Gratitude is only a subtle undertone that "you owed me this," as if you were always the one doing the favor. And while those are lovely aspects of you, they may be exploited against you if they are in the wrong hands. Some guilt trippers are members of your family, some are longtime acquaintances, and some are people you don't even know well but who have determined that they can repeatedly benefit from your generosity. Take Florida's George 7. A church friend began knocking on his house and requesting minor favors, trips to the drugstore, assistance with TV setup, and some yard work. Not much, but each time George paused or claimed to be busy, the friend would sigh and remark, "I just thought Christians were supposed to." George was put back on the hook with only that one line before he realized what was going on. Setting limits isn't only crucial, they are an expression of guilt and self-respect. Boundaries are hated by trippers because they have to cease using your generosity as a free. You don't have to be a doormat to be kind. You don't have to feel guilty about being giving. In actuality, genuine generosity only occurs when your yes is motivated by joy rather than coercion. Someone is not your type if they constantly make you feel like you owe them money. You've earned something greater than guilt at this point in your life, and that's a user in disguise. You deserve partnerships that respect the tranquility and independence you have achieved. The emotional leech. Person 4. These are the individuals who are not interested in your money, time, or assistance. Your emotional energy is what they desire, and they will drain it until you feel as though nothing is left. You know the kind. Their crisis is the subject of every phone conversation. Every visit becomes a therapy session, and no matter how much time you spend listening or what advice you give, they never seem to improve. In your younger years, you might have had the strength to be that shoulder all the time, but as we age, our emotional reserves become more important. You need space for your own peace and personal development. This is because they aren't looking for answers. They're looking for a place to unload. If you're not careful, that place becomes you. Your personal pleasures, and you begin to live in their weather rather than your sunshine. When someone fills that area with their storms all the time, these emotional leeches can occasionally be relative. And nervous daughter who calls to vent every night. Sometimes friends are too preoccupied with discussing their own drama to inquire about your well-being. The most difficult thing is that you may feel horrible about turning them away because you are compassionate and they understand that, but the reality is that you are not their therapist, and you are not in charge of changing their life, especially not at the expense of your own mental health. Let me tell you about Helen, a Colorado woman who is 68 years old. Her neighbor began visiting her virtually every evening just to chat. It started out amicably before turning into an hour of griping about his employment, health, and former spouse. Helen listened politely until one evening when she became aware that she was dreading sex. She discovered that she needed to learn how to communicate. "I'm not in the space to talk right now." The world didn't end, either. Her tranquility returned. Emotional leeches detest clarity because it means their never-ending draining must stop. Boundaries are not cruel, they are clarity. Therefore, be aware that there isn't a true connection. If someone in your life consistently makes you feel heavier, more stressed, and more exhausted, your energy is too valuable to continue investing in someone who never replenishes it. And that is emotional labor. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights useful, please let me know by leaving a comment below. Number 4. Additionally, I advise you to turn on the bell and subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss any video. Your assistance enables us to keep producing high-quality content to educate and uplift you. Let's proceed now. Person 5. The covert manipulator. At first they seem endearing and giving, but listen carefully because every favor and compliment has a catch. And once they have it wound around you, they will pull it whenever it is convenient for them. Someone who flatters you just enough to gain your trust is this type of person. Perhaps they make you feel unique just to get what they want next by calling you wise or saying you're the one person they can rely on. A ride alone is a favor that gradually develops into a routine. And if you abruptly change your mind, you're not who they once believed you to be. The voices of manipulators are not usually lines like "I didn't think I'd have to explain it to you" are more likely to be used to subtly guilt you. Or "I guess I just care more than you do." Additionally, they demand more from you the more you assist them. It never ends. This type of behavior frequently targets older folks, particularly those who are lonely or kind-hearted. It may not seem like manipulation to you, even though you may believe you are being helpful. Notice the trick. Do they always create the situation so they win? Or do they give as much as they take? An 82-year-old guy I know had a younger cousin who came to visit once a week. Initially, it was just a casual catch-up, but gradually it evolved into errands. Taking Ed's automobile for a few days. Just when Ed pushed back, the cousin would respond, "But family doesn't trick you into silence," because he had stopped acting appreciative and had instead become entitled. Your family does not view you as a resource. The rule is as follows. You don't owe your peace of mind to someone else's tactics. If they just give you praise when they want something that isn't love. As you age, trust becomes even more valuable. Therefore, don't be scared to keep it safe. Don't disregard someone's actions just because they smile when they inquire if they make you uncomfortable. Smiles can be disguises. Remain steadfast in your right to refuse. No justification is required. Remember that you have earned a life in which your generosity is valued and not taken advantage of. The constant crisis drainer. Person 6. It seems like they never have a good day. Every message, phone call, and visit is an emergency. And for some reason, you're the one people turn to first. Being needed could feel fantastic. This is the type of person that lives on drama, whether they intend to or not. There's always a new issue. At first, you might even think you're helping, but eventually their incessant upheaval becomes your responsibility. They have not paid their rent on time. Their supervisor was unjust. Once more, their buddy departed. Their health crisis has just become worse. Don't get me wrong, they expect you to drop everything and be there during it all. Everyone experiences difficult times, and supporting someone you care about is one of life's greatest honors. However, there is a difference between someone who is going through a difficult time and someone who makes every season into a storm and expects you to be there for them. Because our energy is restricted as we age. This is dangerous. Your leisure, your relaxation, and your tranquility. These things are more important than ever. And if someone's ongoing issues are causing you to feel stressed, worn out, or depressed, they are harming you in addition to themselves. Consider Karen, 74, who had a companion named Lisa as a child. Lisa phoned daily, sometimes more than once. Karen listened to Lisa patiently at first, because she realized that she was lonely. But as the weeks stretched into months, Lisa's stories became more depressing. She had spent hours discussing her medical anxieties of betrayal. Family drama. Karen stopped going for walks with her neighbors once she started to lose sleep. It wasn't until her kids stated, "Mom, you're not yourself anymore," that she realized her mood had changed. That's the problem. These folks aren't always malicious. However, that does not imply that you must forgo your health in order to accommodate their emotional turmoil. You are not someone else's lifeboat in a never-ending storm. Setting limits and saying, "I care about you, but I also have to take care of myself," is acceptable. Protect your peace, because peace is more valuable than ever in these times. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights helpful, please leave a comment below, number 6, to let me know you're here. If that drives them away, then perhaps the relationship was never really balanced in the first place. Additionally, I advise you to turn on the bell and subscribe if you haven't already, so you don't miss any video. Your assistance enables us to keep producing high-quality content to educate and uplift you. Let's proceed now. The person who keeps you mired in the past is person number 7. They never fail to remind you of your former self, your past activities, and occasionally your current limitations. At first, it could seem like harmless nostalgia, but as time passes, their words begin to feel more like chains than memories. This individual is the one who makes statements such as, "You were so sharp back then," or "Recall how you used to handle everything by yourself, and how they pulled you back when you tried to develop or change." They might say, "You're too old for that now," Or what's the point at your age? They may or may not be aware that this type of conversation subtly undermines your confidence. It prevents you from attempting new activities, making new friends, or even from holding on to the hope that better times are still to come. They make you feel bad for desiring more and trap you in a version of yourself that no longer serves you. This becomes particularly detrimental as we age, since everything is shaped by the narratives we tell ourselves about who we are and what is still attainable. Additionally, if someone continually telling you that your finest years are over, you may begin to believe it, which can gradually drain you of happiness, development, and hope. Consider Harold, 79. He played chess in the park for years, but his hands weren't as steady after a stroke. George, an old buddy, advised him to give it up because he had changed. Harold paid attention. He remained at home and watched the world go by until he received an invitation from a stranger to a night of community gaming. Just have fun, no pressure. When Harold tried it, he laughed more in a single night than he had in months, all because someone finally recognized that he wasn't who he was. These are the 7 kinds of people you should never feel bad about leaving behind in your later years. The truth is that aging doesn't mean shrinking, fading, or fading. It means evolving. And anyone who tries to keep you stuck in outdated definitions of yourself, no matter how sweet their words may sound, isn't helping you. They're holding you back. You deserve relationships that support your future and nourish your present, not ones that keep you in the past. It's about choosing calm growth and purpose over guilt, pressure, and ingrained habits. It's not about being resentful. Concluding remarks. Growing older does not equate to losing strength. Rather, it signifies gaining wisdom, and part of that understanding is knowing when to let go. You've dedicated decades of your time, care, and energy to helping, listening, and fixing problems. Now is the moment to safeguard your soul, not out of resentment, but out of love for your own life. Some people will try to make you feel selfish for saying no, but remember that self-care is not selfishness. Rather, it is strength that enables you to enjoy the years you have worked so hard for. You have earned the right to peace, healthy relationships, and a life that lifts you up rather than drags you down. If anyone ever questions that, just keep in mind that your life is your own, and you don't owe it to anyone who doesn't respect it. Forget about carrying people who don't care about you. We appreciate you being here today, and we hope to hear from you soon. Tell us about one thing you learned today, and how you intend to apply it in your life in the comments section below. We value your opinions, so please feel free to express them. Reading your remarks greatly inspires and motivates us. Please like, subscribe, and share this video if you found it entertaining and useful. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you in the next video. Your support enables us to keep producing high-quality material to educate and motivate you.